everyone. Welcome to the workshop. My name is Nur Hasmiza. You're at turning your thesis into a research paper. We have Dr. Wan Ashura, and also Dr. Wan Farawani. We are the facilitators for today's session. Okay, so all of you are in WebEx. This show is also streamed to SPS website. Sorry, SPS Facebook. So if you have any comments, anything you want to ask, okay, besides raising your hand and ask us, you can also chat, okay, use the chat function to ask any questions to us. Okay, so these are the things that you need to have with you in order to join, in order to, to do this workshop. You need to have your laptop, definitely. Okay, I think all of you here are using your laptop. If you are using your phone, um, it would be better for you to have your laptop beside you at least, because we need you, or we're going to ask you to do some practice, okay, on the turning your thesis, some parts of your thesis into your research paper. Okay, and then of course you need to have your thesis draft, your chapter to date, and some coffee perhaps, okay, or plain water like me. Okay. You can have your food beside you. You can have your children around you, no problem. As long as you get benefits from this workshop, we don't mind. Okay, we understand all of you are working from home, or most of you are working from home. So it's okay. Okay. And the most important thing, we hope you have the joy for learning new knowledge. Okay, feel free to ask us questions. We are also learning from you. Okay. So let us share our knowledge together. Okay. Okay. So and again, if you have any question, you can just post in the chat box. Okay. The three of us will try to answer the questions. Okay. So let's start with the workshop outcome. Okay, what is the outcome that we hope to have from this workshop? We hope you can actually come up with the draft of an extended abstract for any conference, but for today we would like to focus on IP Docs 21, a venue where you can actually submit your research paper. Okay, this IP Docs 21 will be held in September, on 25th of September. So we hope by attending this workshop, you get some input, sorry, and then you can be able to submit your extended abstract to this workshop. But of course, you can also submit your extended abstract to any conference, okay? And then we hope to have we hope to have winners for best 10 extended abstracts. Okay. So you are going to, once you try out how to do this abstract, okay, you are going to submit your abstract through Google form. So this is the form. This is the link to the form. Okay, I'm going to share this link through the chat later. Okay. And then you can also have this QR code. Just go straight to the to this Google form, where if you try out today, we hope you can submit it before 9 a.m. tomorrow. Okay, and then from there we will choose the 10 best winners. The 10 best winners will get something from SPS as a reward for you. Okay, so winners will be announced by SPS through your email. Okay, so this is the team, the facilitator. Okay, I am Nur Hassan. You can call me Nomi. I'll be doing some introduction to IP Docs. Okay, I'll be sharing with you some benefits of attending conferences, and perhaps how to seek help from experts. Okay, and then we will have Dr. Farawani. Okay, she is going to share with us the differences between thesis and research paper. And she's going to share with us how to determine focus of your research paper. Your thesis is so thick, right? So how can you write something from this very thick document? So she's going to share with us, okay, on this. And then we also have this very beautiful lady, Dr. Wanur Ashura, okay. Her slot is going to be more on what they called it, hands-on, all right. Just like Dr. Farah as well, okay. She's going to help us. She's going to share with us how to find reputable journal conferences. All right. That's why you need to have your computer. Then we can practice and then we can share our findings together. She's going to share with us what is corpus index, what is non-index, what is conference proceedings, what are all these big things, big jargons when you start and entering your postgraduate degree, or you start to have all these things. Okay, so this is the venue where you can ask anything, okay, about all these things. All right. So I think some of you have actually joined conferences, but started their postgraduate journey. Okay, so actually when you join conferences, you get so many advantages. First of all, networking, okay? You will get networking with other researchers. I especially like when I get to meet experts from my field and also other field, you know. So it's like a relaxed environment, but actually is going to be something that is very beneficial for all of you because of networking. Okay, so try to find conferences that will give you this chance, okay, where you can do a lot of networking. All right, you can share your research finding with others. When you, I know in the beginning stage of doing your PhD or doing your research, you feel like you're so small. I had the same feeling as well. I was so small in terms of my research. I still had a lot of things I need to learn, okay? But it's okay. Those who join the conference are not your examiners. All right. So you can get feedback from others. Then you get to know what are the current research field, okay? Research in your field actually. You can see what others are doing, all right? You can also meet and also seek your potential examiner. That this is the time when you can have casual chat with them, right? I still remember when I joined one conference while I was doing my PhD, I got to meet my examiner actually, the examiner himself. And I had a chat with him, I had a coffee with him, and you know, it is a relief to be able to meet the examiner and you know really had a casual chat with him actually. So then you get to see, you can actually ask anything about his perhaps a current work, you know. So it's a place for you to meet all the scholars. So join a conference, join some conference while doing your PhD research, okay? Okay, some photos that I had while I was doing my PhD. Uh, uh, like what I told just now, this is the venue where you can have a lot of networking with the others. These photos were taken in Exeter while I was doing my PhD, and also the one and some of them are actually taken in Sydney, Australia. The one the one this one the guy the English guy with me wearing this green tudung, okay? He is actually John Traxler. If any of you are doing research on mobile learning, you must know he is actually the person, okay, the person who is an expert in mobile learning. So he's actually my examiner. Very, very humble guy, you know. But of course, he's very professional when he assess my thesis. But it's a good thing, you know. This is the time when you can actually meet these people and you know talk to them. And most important thing, the environment is not as stressful as you know in like while you are having your viva session, right? It's just a relaxed avenue for you to meet the expert. And then you can also get to know uh, the the latest research, okay? My research is on mobile learning. So this photo here, the one when here, the one on the left, okay? This is actually when I tried the Google Glass, okay, back in 2014 before it was discontinued because of security issue, right? If you still remember about mobile learning, ID's mobile learning conference is actually a venue where all companies with mobile devices, okay, would actually showcase the latest product that they have. My pictures in the middle here is actually a picture of me trying out a music player that comforts kids with autism. You see here, I'm wearing like a backpack, right? This backpack is actually for the to be worn to be used by the autism kids, okay? And if you can see them, I was holding a phone, right? And there's a Beethoven there. So that music was actually comforting the autism kids. You know, you get it through vibration and it goes to the ear. So it's good to be inspired when you attend these kind of conferences. Of course, I show these photos because my research is on mobile learning. So when you talk about mobile learning, usually we want to know what is the latest device, right? So this one is actually ID's mobile learning conference. The one on the left was held in Turkey, and the one on the right was actually held in Sydney. Okay. All right. Let me show you some video about IP Docs 21. Since I told you just now, right? We like to promote you to join IP Docs. Okay. That's the video. Can you hear? Can you hear me? Okay. Right. Okay, so that's some introduction about IP Docs, okay? Like what I told just now, IP Docs will be held on 25th of September, but now you can start sending your extended abstract, okay? So this is actually a venue where you can you can share your industry-driven research, or in other words, your research which are related to problems or issues in workplace. And then, like what just now I heard some of you mention that you are actually doing a research which is related to your workplace. So this is the venue where you can actually present or share your findings to the other researchers. It can be a complete research and it can also be an ongoing research. What are the themes that you can have in IP Docs? We have engineering, we have social sciences, and we have science and technology. All right. So this is the website. Feel free to go to this website and start sending your extended abstract. So today, like what I mentioned just now, we are going to have some practice on how we can actually do or prepare the extended abstract. Okay. So these some elements of these are the elements in extended abstract. If you have all this, you can submit it. All right. You title. All of you have title, authors and affiliation, abstracts, keywords, introduction, materials and methods, results and discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, and references. If you go to the website, you even have the template. Just download the template and put your writing inside. Using the template. How you are going to do it? That's why you are here joining this workshop. We're going to help you. We're going to assist you on how to prepare for your extended abstract. Okay. All right. I would like to pass the floor to Dr. Shura. Dr. Shura, can I stop sharing?
I think it's me.
Oh, sorry, not Shura, Dr. Wan Farawan. Should I stop sharing or you want me to
No, never mind. I will share my slide.
okay, so I stop sharing, okay? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Problem.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Nomi. Okay, I'll be continuing from here. Can you see my screen? Yes, yeah?
Yep.
Let me just move myself here and there. Okay. Right. So just a recap of what Dr. Nomi said just now. Why do you want to join conferences? Sometimes when you do work in silo, you feel like You know, it's a very lonely journey, this PhD that you're doing right now, or masters, if there are people doing masters. So it's a very lonely journey in the sense that you feel that it's you alone who's working on that particular topic. When you go to conferences, you see other people doing different things. Although they are from the same field or different fields, you get inspiration, like what Dr. Nomi said, and motivation. You see people joining only in their first semester, third semester. They are not even close to, you know, the end of their PhD study or master study, but they still join because of the joy, or the taking the inspiration from others to just move on. Yeah, so this is what you know, participating in a conference is all about. You want to be inspired, you want people also to know that you're working on this topic that you are establishing, uh, you know, later on, especially if you want to venture into academic career. So again, this one I would like to highlight, and I will re-highlight again after Dr. Shura's slot. Uh, Dr. Nomi also said there will be, you know, a template that you can use for IP docs submission. The one that we are providing you, especially today, is with guidance, yeah, or guidelines. So hang in there. That one would be the third part of the workshop. But just as a glance through, this will be what we will be doing on when we submit an extended abstract anywhere, yeah, not just IP docs. So coming back to our title, turning your thesis into a research article or research paper, what does it entail? And for you to move on, you need to know the differences. So these are some of the things that I will highlight. There are 7 elements that I will highlight, starting with the length. Yeah. Okay, as you know, the length of a thesis is much longer than a research article. Research article typically is between, if you're talking about extended abstract, it's between 4 to 6 pages or 7 maximum. If you're talking about a full research paper, probably between 8 to 25, maybe, yeah. So the differences in the length means that you need to be concise and you need to shorten what you have in your thesis. Now, why do you want to turn your thesis into a research article? Let me show you my thesis, how thick they are. So thick. Uh, you know, if you throw this to someone, highly likely they will pass out. Yeah. So why do you want to turn your thesis into a research article? Can't you just do uh, your research paper from scratch? You can, but you need things to put in. So what the thesis helps you is, this is almost like an ingredient for you to devise a good research article. Why? In a thesis, you have your introduction, literature review, methodology, results, and discussion. You've got your conclusion if you're already completing it. If you're not, it's a work in progress. But there are things that you write in your thesis that can help you. Yeah, you take out or you sift out important information. So in terms of length, this is the difference between 200 plus pages, turning it into you know, 4 pages for extended abstract, or 6, or a full paper of probably 20 pages. Can you put everything in? Yeah, so let's see how we can do it. So in each section of the manuscript, it has to be shortened, just like the one in the previous slide. You've got your introduction. Yeah, so usually you have to select and see what are the key elements that you want to take out for this particular paper. Yeah, so you cannot tap into everything. You've got to narrow down your focus. And however you want to shorten it, you must remember to keep the essence of the study. What is the essence? You don't run away from it. Yeah, and leave out redundant details. Sometimes in a thesis we reiterate we reinforce our points made earlier, because you want to convince the reader. Yeah, even different types of audience play a significant role in how you write a thesis and how you write a research article. So the first one is in terms of length. So because it's too lengthy, you need to shorten it. Yeah, the next one is the abstract itself. Yeah, abstract, ironically, is the first thing you read, but when you draft a paper, that's the last thing you do, because it encapsulates everything that you have done or you have covered in a paper. So, being the heart of the uh, article or the thesis, it has to be strong. It has to be standalone. Yeah. So in a thesis, the abstract is typically longer than 350 words. So in the case of UTM especially, your abstract can be up to one page. Yeah. So it's about 500 words for one page. But for a research article, it must be written between 150 to 250 words typically. Yeah. But in the case of IP docs, the maximum number of words for the abstract is, I think, is 200 words. Yeah. What is important to know here is the abstract is the only piece of work that the organizers, if you submit to a conference, will see. Yeah, they cannot see your full paper yet, but this is the determining, yeah, when they want to decide whether your paper gets accepted or not. Yeah, so it's the only piece of work that will be judged in a way. Yeah, so it needs to be standalone, where this is the heart of your paper. You have to have these 4 items: introduction. You've got to cover what triggered you to do your uh, paper or your study, what methodology did you employ, and the results that you obtain, as well as what is your so what answer. What do you envision going ahead? Yeah, the conclusion. And of course, it functions as the selling factor of your work. Yeah, right. So that is in terms of abstract. We will have a look at this later when we do the hands-on session. Yeah. And then, of course, the introduction. We move on to the difference in terms of introduction. In a thesis, we usually have a very detailed introduction where you demonstrate your familiarity with the existing literature through an exhaustive literature review. Yeah, this is where you cite people uh, from the most recent one to the impetus of the review or the study. Yeah, the prominent scholars. Yeah, but in a research article, the introduction is rather succinct. You don't need to tell this. Why? Because the audience of a research paper are already experts or people uh, who are familiar with what you're saying. So you don't have to say it again. Yeah. It includes only those that are required to understand the gap in the research that you're doing that led to the the start of the study, your study. So in a research article, compared to a thesis, you just focus on one research question. You take one of your research question in your thesis. Sometimes even one research questions can be subdivided into few things, especially if you go deep. Yeah. So you just focus on one. So while you are listening to me, you can flip through your thesis if you have them in print, or you can just scroll your soft copy of your thesis introduction. You just select one research question that you want to work on today. Yeah, the most confident that you want to kickstart. Yeah. And then we move on to the methods. Now that you have established why you wanted to do it in the introduction, this is where you tell people how you do it. So in a thesis, usually we include a very extensive discussion of the research approach and methodology, why you adopt interview, for example, or why you adopt this kind of experiment. You need to tell, because you are convincing the examiners why you do the way you do it. But in a research article, you have a more sort of like a more controlled presentation of methods, where your discussion is only limited to describing what details of the methodology used for that research question that you have identified earlier. So probably your research question one, for example, you only use um, review of literature. Probably if you think of doing a review paper, yeah, so your only method is collecting data from past studies, yeah. So as opposed to someone who uses lab work, so he or she needs to describe what kind of testing did they do in their paper for that particular research question, not the entire study. Okay, so a comprehensive discussion of the research approach is not required in a research article. You don't have to justify why you use interview and why you say, oh, interview according to Donye 2007. No, you don't have to do that. Only in thesis. Yeah. Then after you have established and you have told how you do it, this is the platform where you talk about what you get, yeah, the results. So in a thesis, you have to report each and every result in considerable detail, A to Z, yeah. In a research article, I'm not saying you cannot be detailed, you have to, but you only touch on the main findings. You don't have to show, for example, if you use 300 samples, you cannot possibly write findings of 300 samples only in one paper. Yeah, it's going to be very taxing and it's going to be a bit imbalanced. Probably you have too much of results, but very few on literature review. You cannot have that. You have to have the portion. Yeah. So the common problem among students, including myself when I was a student and I'm still learning, yeah, reporting results in their thesis that are not strong enough. You're just telling, for example, if you do some testing, okay, I got this, I obtained this and that. But what do you make out of it? This is what you get. So what? The so what is often missing. So when the so what is not being told in your thesis, it's not strong enough. Yeah, it's not sufficient just to tell what you see, but what do you make out of it? That's the more important. That's the PhD there. Yeah. In journal articles, there are strict standards of reporting that should be followed, which we will cover here in this particular workshop. We are going to cover the standards of reporting in an extended abstract. Yeah, but you can use and implement that to your full article publication as well. So report results that are directly relevant to the research question and backed by strong evidence. This is where you cite other people's studies, yeah, and results of findings. And you may also want to include secondary findings as supplementary information. But if you are doing a review paper, of course, your secondary findings become your primary, yeah, because you are reporting on past studies, right? And then we move on to the discussion. So what? Okay, just now you're just reporting what you get from your analysis, content analysis, your observation, your experiments. Now is what can you make out of it? So in a thesis, typically they are more detailed, providing thorough interpretation of all results. This is because you need to show your complete understanding of their data. Okay, and in a research article, what you need to do is it has to be clear and to the point. Okay, sorry, my son is A. In a thesis, students need to, okay, demonstrate their interest in future research directions by engaging extensive speculation. This is happening in a thesis, but not in an article. Yeah. And for it to be a good research article, you try to avoid repeating your results. Sometimes when I did some review of journal paper as well, not many, but what I see is sometimes even the phrasing in your abstract, it appears again in the body. So which is not good. As a reviewer, you would say, this is not good. You're just merely repeating. It's almost copying and pasting, which is not really a good way of writing. You've got to vary your sentences and phrases so that people know this person who writes this paper knows everything that he is doing or she is doing. Okay, so it has to be clear to the point in the discussion. And then, of course, comes the references. If I see my reference section, I think I've got more than 20 pages of references. Can you have 20 pages of references in your research article? Of course not. Yeah. So in a thesis, it should be exhaustive. The more you read, the more you know of things, but not everything you read you have to cite. Yeah. You've got to make informed decision. In a research article, it should be, because of the length is shorter than the thesis, your citations are also a bit more limited. But from experience, a professor once told me that if you wish to write in a Q journal, your references should be more than 30. Yeah, for you to when you read more than 30 papers, meaning you've got a wider a worldview of the issue. Yeah. So but sometimes journals do specify the maximum number of references that needs to be included. They don't want to have too much, they don't want to have too little either. So the best thing would be if you have targeted research a journal that you wish to publish in there, which will be covered by Dr. Shura just after my slot. People were saying that if you wish to publish in that journal, at least you cite some papers from the journal, at least three. That was what I was told. Yeah, at least three from the journal that you wish to publish. Why three? And why do you need to cite? If these papers get accepted in the journal, and if you can mirror the way they write, highly likely your paper can also be published there as well, because you have somewhat followed the standards. Yeah, remember we talk about you know strong standard. Yeah, yes, you will get the slide later at the end of the session. Yeah, and you include works, of course, that have been cited in the article. Sometimes when you take from theses, you tend to just, okay, first what you do is typically you copy and paste first, and then you trim it down, right? Sometimes in the process of trimming it down, there are some citations that you accidentally missed, or you didn't take for the final draft, but it's still there in the references. People do also take note of the reference list that you give. Yeah, be careful with the uh, year. You don't simply just put. Yeah, sometimes people make that mistakes as well, especially when we are doing or reading so many previous works, right? So those are the 7 elements, starting with the length, and then we look at the abstract. Everything on your right side is shorter than the left. So, but shorter doesn't mean that the quality is lower. Yeah. If anything, a research article is a succinct piece of writing that is read by experts in the field. The way you write it is different. You cannot just take your sentences from your thesis and just put it in the research article. It has to have a slightly higher level of a writing style in a research article, yeah, because of the conciseness and succinctness of the uh, nature and genre of research article. So this is just the common differences. Later on, after Dr. Ashura's slot, I will be coming in and talking about the components of an extended abstract, and one where you can work on your piece of draft. Yeah. So for now, I will stop here and I will come back to you after Dr. Shura's slot, and we will see the components of the extended abstract. So with that, I end my slot and I will pass over to Dr. Ashura for her slot.
Okay. Thank you,
Let
Dr.
me stop
Farah.
sharing.
So see, it's not long as compared to your thesis, right? Dr. Farah has actually shared with us the 7 elements, the differences between thesis and your paper. Okay, shorter paper does not mean that the quality is not there, as mentioned by Dr. Farah just now. Your paper requires more controlled presentation in terms of your introduction, literature review, methodology, and conclusion, right? Before I invite Dr. Shura, do you have any questions to Dr. Farah? Anyone? No questions? Anybody?
Sorry.
Sure.
Regarding to the extend abstract, which I hope they will extend the deadline as well. For example, I'm doing a review paper. For example, I don't have any problem for the abstract, title, keywords, and introduction. Starting from the results and methods and discussion. How can I obtain my material and methods since it is a review paper?
Let me
That's
answer
a
the
very
first
good
part.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The first part is, are you going to get the extension for this abstract submission? Yes. The answer is yes. It's not going to be 30th of June. It's going to be 15th of July, actually. Okay. And over to you,
Good,
Dr. Shura,
good.
Dr. Farah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that good question. Yeah, because this is a question that students will be wondering, what will I do in the methods and materials section when you write a review paper? Well, you don't have materials, right? For sure, for a review paper. But what you can say is you tell how you do the review process. Where do you get most of the papers from? Or you can talk about the timeline. So the papers that you reviewed are between 2008 to 2012 on certain topics. Yeah, Abu Sif? So
Yes.
you tell the process of you collecting all the papers that you are reviewing. A review paper is a very good paper, but sometimes people do say that a review paper should be reviewed by an expert in the field. But will try. Yeah, I have published a review paper. A review paper is very taxing in terms of content. Yeah, you've got to know what you're talking about, and you've got to know what most people have been working on. So the references for a review paper would be longer than a typical research article, probably close to 50 or more. Yeah, because it's a review paper, and you must when you write a review paper, you've got to have a sample from another published review paper for you to know what people have been covering when they cover a review paper, because sometimes we may as well just review at surface value or at face value. uh, but it's good to have, and I'm happy to know that you're working on a review paper. A review paper are likely to be cited more than a paper that you write from one of your research questions, because like us, when we try to find a paper, we would want to know more things in one. So if it's a review paper, is often very highly cited because it's a one-stop center. They don't need to read what you have reviewed. Yeah, so your paper becomes a reference point at one point or another. So probably the first year after your publication of your review paper, not many people cited your paper. But over the course of, I see a pattern in my review paper. Many people are starting to cite my work because they have finally found my paper. Yeah, so hang in there. When you write a review paper, you will be cited, but just have a sample that you have along for you to see what people often cover when they write a review paper. I hope that answers your question, Abu Sif. In terms
Yes.
of
So
yeah,
mhm. Yeah, so
yeah,
to sum up this part for for the material and method, I can talk about the method, how get the previous studies,
yes,
the years and so on. Okay. At
yeah,
the same time, what about the results and discussion for review paper?
okay. Usually, okay, this is I'm talking this mainly from my experience. Yeah, so for the results section, what I do is I do the comparison between in my case I reviewed different types of approaches. Yeah, so in the review section, my heading was similarities and differences between approaches. So that is my result. Your review is your result, right? So you can have a subheading on similarities, for example, or if you are reviewing a method, so you can have a subsection on method number 1, method number 2, and method number 3. That will be your review section. It's not confined in terms of when we say a review section, it doesn't have to be, no, sorry, result. It doesn't have to be confined to just results from experiments or analysis or anything. It depends on the nature of your paper. If it's a review paper, that's why I said going back to having one sample paper of a review paper. You see what are the components that they cover. So often in my case, in my review paper, the result section, I substitute it with similarities and differences of approaches. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So there's a question in the chat box. If it's an ongoing research, how should we do with the result part? Okay, probably a review paper or concept paper, right? So maybe you have done like a preliminary investigation or pilot study. You can also talk about that as well. Yeah. Again, this concept of publishing in a research journal or publishing a research paper, we have this conception that it has to be complete in order for you to start writing a good paper. Well, you can start from small. Uh, in this case, like an extended abstract, it doesn't need to have much. It's just 4 pages. You cover just the relevant literature review. You cover the proposed method. If you have not already start initiating, you can talk about your proposed method. Yeah, and then probably a concept paper, you envision what results would you get. So that's a concept paper, I think. Yeah. So there's no problem. You don't need to say that, oh, I've got to have a solid, uh, analysis. A research paper is just short. You can you can maneuver your narration of what you're doing. Yeah. And if a review paper, there's another question. If review paper will be presented for the conference, how should we do the result part? I think I've answered that just now. You can narrow it down to what you review. Uh, is it a method? Is it a theory? Is it a approach or anything? Yeah. Can we do self-citation? Will there be an issue with turning in if we have duplication in our thesis? That's why you cannot have a copy paste style. It has to be paraphrased, written differently. Yeah, the gist or the essence is there. Yeah, but not the entire thing, like the whole paragraph. That is not good, right? Okay. I think I have overshadowed Dr. Shura's slot. Sorry.
Problem.
Okay,
No
over
problem.
to you.
Okay.
Over to you.
Okay, over to you, Dr. Shura.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, I will start share my screen first. Okay. Can you see my screen? All right. So on response means everything is okay, I assume. Okay. So I am Wanur Ashura, Wan Adnan. I have been teaching at UTM for 13 years. I am an alumni of UTM actually, so I know quite a lot about UTM as a postgraduate student and so forth. But today, my sharing slot, it's about choosing the right and reputable conference or journal, because I think this is quite important as we work in the academia, or some of us are postgraduate students, some of us are research officers or research assistants. So these are the knowledge that I think we should know. All right. So before we decide on what kind of conference that we wish to submit our paper, let's think of this question. How reliable the conference calls that we receive in our mail inbox? I'm sure that everyone of us here must at least have received one or two conference calls in our mail inbox. But we have to always ask ourselves, is this conference calls reliable? And that leads to another question, that is how to find for a reputable conference in our field. So yes, all right. So in my case, I usually will list the criteria of the conference that I intend to submit my paper to. For example, if that conference accept my paper as conference proceeding, sometimes it's maybe just a standard abstract. So that means the pages are less than the actual paper. All right. And I also will look for a conference where my manuscript can possibly be accepted to an index journal. Okay, so I'm sure that most of us here have presented in conference, so we know what we are looking for. All right, and with the current COVID-19 condition in situation now, so I will only opt for virtual conference. Okay, so where can actually we can possibly find the information on conference? So one of the websites that we can look the information at is conferencealert.com. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my PowerPoint. So let's go to the website itself. Okay, conferencealert.com. Okay, as you can see here, this is conferencealerts.com, and with so many information, and this is specifically for teaching and learning conferences. You can choose your own area or field. For example, okay, this is the landing page of the conference alerts.com. So you have engineering and technology, health and medicine, veterinary, and even by countries. Okay, so of course, let's try to look at this one just now on teaching and learning and education. Okay, so we have so many conferences listed here. Okay, I need to click here. Okay. All right. So you can always choose any conference that is related to the work, to your work, to your area. But again, my practice is that I will always do some background checking on the conference, because sometimes when we go to the conference web page or websites, there are so many information that I can say, this is based on my experience, yeah. Not all conference give misleading information on their website. So as a user, as a consumer, we need to always check the credibility of the conference. Okay, so right, let's try and look at one of the conferences here. Okay, I think I have choose one just now. Okay, so all right, so this is one of the conferences on teaching and learning. It is called the 13th Asian Conference on Education. Okay, so it will be held in Tokyo, Japan. So I think this is a hybrid conference that will be held in November 2021. Okay, so this is the normal landing page of any conference website. So what enticed my interest is that, okay, so this conference seems to, it is claimed here, yeah, this conference is associated with the Scopus and DOEJ listed Journal of Education. Okay, so these are the key information that we always have to pay attention to. Sometimes we want to go for an early bird fee, so just take note of this important information. Anything else? Any chances for me to submit to get my paper to be published in any okay, let's see here, in any social Scopus Index journal. Okay, so you have to look for this important information whenever we go to this website, the conference website specifically. I think I saw something about, okay. All right, submission status, presentation formats. Okay, proceedings. So this is about proceedings. If you wish your paper to be published in the conference proceeding, once you have registered, please ensure that you upload your full paper, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so nothing about my paper or my proceedings will be published in a Scopus journal. So when does that Scopus journal IA4 just now? I think it's somewhere in the website here mentioned that if we have submitted, there's a disclaimer here, yeah, but I couldn't find it now. But I saw it just now that it is mentioned that once our papers have been accepted to this conference and published as the proceeding in the proceedings, so we cannot submit to the journal anymore. Okay, the same topic, the same title. So maybe if you don't want to submit to this conference, you may just submit to this journal. Okay, the thing is, they claim that IA4 Journal of Education is Scopus Index Journal. So it's our task as the consumer, like I said just now, to check for the credibility whether this is a legit journal of Scopus Index Journal. So where can we actually go and check for this credibility of this journal? So UTM to Pustakaan Zanaria, Sultan Zanaria, our library, provide us with very good access to so many papers. So let me share with you how to check. Okay. Right, so go to the Easy Proxy UTM. You may log in using your UTM ID. If you happen to forget UTM ID, I think that's not the case because you check your DSMS, your e-learning in like maybe weekly basis. Yeah, so you shouldn't forget about your UTM ID. But whatever it is, to log into this online database, we use our UTM ID. Okay, you can check the just Google. I Google myself as well. So easy proxy UTM. So this will bring you to this landing page in which you have to click here at e-resources and click at online database, e-journals and e-books, A to Z listing. Okay. So my purpose here to show you this page is I want to check the credibility of the Scopus so-called claim as Scopus journal just now, that IA4 Journal of Education. So I click here at Scopus. So this will bring us to this page. Okay. So the journal name just now is, if we can have source title, all right, IA4 Journal of Education. Okay. I don't think so. You can check this if you don't log into the institutional login. If you don't use your login, institutional login ID. Yeah, that's the phrase. Okay, so apparently you can see that the source here, IFO Journal of Education, is here. That means IFO Journal of Education is a legit Scopus journal. Okay, yeah. So click at the information just now, the source detail. So definitely this one, it has been indexed in Scopus from 2018. Okay, so don't worry about that. So it's a legit Scopus journal. So that is one of the ways that we can check the credibility of any journal that we wish to submit, or even the conference. Okay, for conference, let's say the conference will be held in 2021. You may check the track record of the previous conference, the paper or the conference proceedings that was published the year before that, or maybe the previous session of the conference. So it's possible to check on Scopus as well. Okay. All right. So now, stop sharing this one again. Okay. Coming back to our PowerPoint. Okay. All right. So that's about deciding the conference, or looking for the legit conference, and also the journal. So Scopus journal information. All right. I meet you. We have actually, all the facilitators have actually planned this activity for the participants today. So if it's possible, can you spend your 5 minutes to go to this Padlet link here? Okay, maybe someone can help me, or it's there already, the
Yeah,
link.
it's
Oh
there.
yeah,
I've shared
thank
the
you very
Padlet
much,
link.
Dr. Naomi. So
Okay.
click at the link here. So I need all of you to find possible conferences. It's like knowledge sharing as well in your field. Yeah, and look for these information. The first one is the date and mode of the conference, and type of publication, whether non-index, Scopus index proceedings, or Web of Science proceedings. I don't want to talk about the difference just yet, because my next slides will be talking about non-index, Scopus index, and Web of Science index proceedings or journals. Okay, would you mind to spend these 5 minutes to find the information? We have actually, we have identify 4 main areas here: social science, engineering, science and technology, and multidisciplinary. If you think that you're an education, you can put under the social science. Okay, if you're doing something on applied linguistics, you can also put something under social science. So you may choose any that is related, any areas that is related to you. Okay, can we go there to the Padlet?
Maybe we can share the Padlet
Yep.
here. I mean, for us to see.
Yes, I will share.
So far, are you all okay? Can we
Everyone
get a
okay? Any
reaction? Thumbs up
question?
or
Okay. So these are some of the conference that we have identified. The
Okay. It's
multidisciplinary.
can I respond to Abu Sif's comments or remark in the chat?
Okay.
It's not, there's nothing for engineering. What we want to do is you find the conference that you wish to participate. Because if I were to do to search for engineering, I may not know the keywords or the one that
Yes.
best suits your
Mm.
topic or your area. So it's actually this is massive search from all 74 of us who are here in the WebEx. Yeah. All right. So I see people putting chemical engineering and all that is good. Yeah. Keep
Yep.
doing it
Keep it
so that,
coming.
yeah.
This is
So
going to
that
be
after,
very,
yeah.
this is going to be a very good platform for all of us actually to share, conferences. So don't forget to save this link and you
Yeah.
can use it for
So
paper.
it's not only two conferences for social science. They are, I put up the first one and the second person put up the second one. So if you are Nor Abaya, put on another one, there'll be three or more. Yeah. So it's you finding and putting it here. So you keep the link, a star message, the Padlet link. Anytime you want to go back to this again, you know, your friends are sharing with you what they find. So more heads are better than one. This is what the session is about.
Engineering is leading there.
Come on, where are the others from the other fields?
Yeah.
The augmented reality here, should it fall under science and technology or social science?
Yeah, I think it's more on science and technology, right?
Mm. But that depends on what kind of specific area that they're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this for 5 minutes. So we have about 3 minutes left. It is preferred that you could also identify whether the your proceedings or your manuscript will be accepted in any kind of uh, indexing. Yeah, okay, like this one, for example, this one. Yeah, okay. Because our discussion after this will lead us to discussing whether it's a Scopus index, what is different between World of Science index or ISI index, and what about non-index journal.
I think engineering discipline has a lot of conferences they can go to, yeah. You see?
And the chances to get published in ISI
Yeah.
index journals is higher compared to us in
Yeah,
social sciences.
yeah, so if you see the pattern engineering conferences are many of the conferences are Scopus indexed. It's probably I think it's natural for them to have Scopus or WOS, mainly Scopus, but social science, not that many, but not to say that there are none, but you've got to, like what Dr. Shura said just now, you've got to find carefully. Yeah.
Okay, so we allow another maybe 2 minutes. Okay, if you have something from multidisciplinary apart from what we have shared here, please yeah, share. You may go to the conferencealerts.com just now and look for if you have no idea where to find information from. So I repeat, you may go to the conferencealerts.com just now, the website, and find any related conference in your area or in your field. Wow, someone even shared the contact person. Thank you. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Dr. Nomi and Dr. Farah, you can always chip in and comment about the sharing here. Okay, we'll go to social science. We'll go to engineering first. All right, so we have IEEE TAIL 2021 here, okay, or on site or online in China. Okay, how do you know it's Scopus Index? What is listed, or what kind of publication that will be accepted? Whether it's your conference proceeding or your full paper. So that information is one of the information that you really have to determine and to identify whether this conference will accept our paper or maybe our conference proceedings, or they will ask us to write a full paper, and this selected paper will be submitted to Scopus Index or ISI Index journal. Okay, so these are some of the important information that you really have to find. Okay, all right, and then we also have fifth International Conference on Global Sustainability and Chemical Engineering. Okay, it will virtual conference in September. All right. Okay, accepted abstract will be offered the opportunity to submit full paper to be published to these potential journals. Okay, so if I can see here, all of these, this is Scopus Index, all right, with impact factor. This is Scopus Index as well. All right. So yeah, you know that your paper, there is a possibility, it's not a must, but there is a possibility that your paper will be accepted to be published to this potential journal. Okay, that's a good thing, right? Okay, so this one, online conference on engineering and innovative materials in Tokyo, Japan in September as well. So accepted papers will be published in a volume of key engineering materials. So what is this? Is this a book chapter? Is this a journal? So these are the things that we have to determine. Okay, all right. So submitted for EI companions. Okay, Scopus. It is clean here as Scopus, but really you have to check. Okay, all right. So I think enough with engineering. Okay, but again, remember that do check for this kind of information whether your paper will be published as whether your paper will be published as conference proceedings, or they will ask you to write the full length paper to be submitted to any journals. So you have to check for that. All right, and we'll go back to social science. Okay. The sixth International Academic Conference on Humanities and Social Sciences we had in Paris in November 2021. I don't think so. We are still allowed to travel to overseas just yet by November, I think. All right, so not yet. All right, so not sure of the mode, whether the mode is fully online or hybrid. Nothing about the information whether your paper will be accepted as proceedings and whatever, right? Nothing on that. Okay, so I have another one. All right, let's look at this one from Science and Technology. Okay, nothing much on the information whether your paper will be accepted as conference proceeding, will be published as conference proceeding, and so forth. Okay, but I believe that you got the idea or the gist of what kind of information that you should look for when we decide the conference that we wish to send our papers to. Okay, so I'll stop sharing this one. Thank you very much for participating in the activity. Okay, so I'll continue with the PowerPoint again. Right. Okay, so these points to the okay, so we need since we have talked about just now, we've talked about Scopus Index Journal, whether it's a Q1, Q4 ISI Index Journal, whether it's non-index journal. So it is important that I repeat again what I said earlier, that as an academy or maybe a postgraduate student or someone who is working in the academia, to know at least what is ISI Index Journal, Scopus Index Journal, and non-index journals, or sometimes people call it a peer-reviewed journal. Okay, so why do we need to know the ways to identify the status of this indexing? Is that it is very important to check the credibility of the journal to avoid predatory journals. There's so many predatory journals. I have never been scammed, but at least maybe because I have a very strong support group in which we discuss. But so far, I am still lucky. I have not been scammed, but I do not want any UTM students or even UTM staff to be scammed as well. So that's why it is important to have this kind of knowledge when it comes to choosing which journal we wish to publish. Okay, so I'll be talking about Scopus Index Journal. What is Scopus Index Journal? The ISI Index Journal and non-index journal. I'm not going too deep in the sense that you will get this knowledge. There are courses provided by PSZ or our library on this, where to publish your manuscript or where to publish your work. Okay, so I'm just going to touch everything on surface level. Okay, so let me share or let me start with this one. Okay, non-index journal. Usually we call it peer review journal. So this is actually a skill where you have to know as well. Okay, we open the all right. So this is non-index journal. Okay, how to check? Usually, yeah, you may check if they claim they are Scopus Index or they are Q something something. You may check that on the website and so forth. But from the website itself, they will tell you the indexing that they have. So this one, LSP International Journal is Language Academy in-house journal. So this is one of my earliest paper that I published as a master's student during that time. So the use of adverbials in the verbal production of Malays and learners processability approach. Okay, very lengthy and very mouthful. Okay, so there are index in my site, if not mistaken. Okay, Google Scholar, UDLH. So we know that if you are a novice researcher or a very young or less experienced, I don't want to use that as experience, but I would say novice researcher, or you may start publishing your work in this kind of journal, non-index journal. So when you got the thrill, when your paper has been accepted, of course, we will go through the process of reviewing, okay, our paper being reviewed, and we got comments from the reviewers. And when your paper has been accepted to be published, you'll get the thrill that, oh, I couldn't stop here. You will keep on continuing to publish your work, okay? But it's a good start for you or for us to start publishing in non-index journal, especially for those without, maybe in your first or second semester of your PhD or master. Okay, so it's when people say you shouldn't publish your work, you're still young, you are still in your first or second semester. I beg to differ. No, you can always publish your work in maybe if it's not in any Scopus journal. We know that Scopus journal is of high quality journals, so maybe you can start with non-index journal. Okay, all right. So that's about non-index journal. I'll be coming back to these slides again. So now it's about Scopus Index Journal, in which I have
Dr.
Mr.
Nurhan,
Option.
can we just add here that the IP Docs 21,
Yeah.
the publication for IP Docs 21 is actually for non-index journal. That's
Yes.
why
Okay.
it's very this is actually a very good venue for all of you, okay, to start publishing your journals, publishing your paper.
Yes, especially for novice researcher. Okay, so
And if their
and
papers are good enough to be sent to Scopus Index Journal, they will be qualified for that. Yeah, for IP Docs, there are some Scopus Journal that we have listed in the website, I believe, Dr. Nomi.
yes. Yes, one
Yeah,
of the journals that I can remember for social science is Botanica Journal of Social
Botanica,
Sciences. Yeah,
UPM.
so it's a UPM in-house journal. So it's a Scopus Index journals. That means selected papers in the area of social science. So you have your chance to publish your paper in Botanica if you send your paper to IP Docs 2021. IP Doc is actually organized by SPSL, so no question about its credibility. Okay.
Legit.
It's a legit one. Most importantly, it's a legit one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sometimes,
yeah.
yeah, can I just chip in?
Yeah, sure, sure.
When people say selected papers, what do people mean by selected papers? From my understanding, when people say selected papers, your paper is fit enough to go to a Scopus journal or to a WOS journal. The quality is there that it's a waste for you to just put it in under conference proceedings. So whenever you write, as best as possible, try to write the best that you can, not thinking about whether it's a non-index or indexed. Even if it's a non-indexed journal, if your work is good, people will cite it. Even your thesis can be cited. So don't worry too much. This is my, my way of doing it. Don't worry too much whether it's, of course, you want to think about it. But if you want to start with straight away to go to WOS, it will take you a long, long time because WOS paper, usually the waiting time is between 6 to 8 months. Yeah. A non-index is slightly shorter than that, probably about a few months or so, but not as long as WOS. The waiting list is too long, and the publication frequency is probably lower than non-indexed. Some WOS just publish once a year or twice a year. Yeah, so non-indexed probably 4 times a year or more. Scopus frequency is quite high compared to WOS because WOS takes care of the quality. So if you want to start, you start small from non-indexed, but the quality has to be there so that people would recognize your work is much more than just non-indexed. They will try their best to accommodate you to send it to Scopus or WOS if it's worthy to be published there. Yeah, so that's just something that we need to ponder on. When you write well. Doesn't matter what level it is.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Farah. Echoing what she said, have my paper been rejected outright? Yes, I sent one paper to, I can't remember that, but that was during my time as a PhD student, but it was rejected after 2 hours of the submission. So when we intend to submit our paper to this journal, we have to be mentally prepared in the sense that sometimes you will get rejected outright, and sometimes they will reject, they will only tell the decision to you after like waiting for like 3 to 6 months. So but again, we have to be very ethical in the sense that don't send the same paper to different journals at the same time. Okay, sometimes the editor or the reviewers are the same person or the same people who are reviewing, who are the reviewers from the journal. So be ethical in this sense. But my important point here is we need to be mentally prepared when we are about to send our paper to this journal. Okay, so that is part and parcel, I think, in being an academic or any postgraduate students. Okay, coming back. Okay, just now I talked about non-index journal. So recently, one of my friends asked me whether I'm not going to point whether this is not any bad intention, yeah. So this is a very academic sharing based on my experience as well. Okay, because I thought I know this, but I don't. Okay, so now this if you go to this journal landing page, Malaysian Journal of Learning and Instruction. Okay, you can see that it is indexed by Scopus. Yes, I have checked and this journal is indexed by Scopus. So it's a legit Scopus index journal. So now I want to, let's say you are not sure because I think we have found so many pages or journal landing page where they claim that they are a Scopus index journal. So how can we check for that? I've shown you just now, we need to go to Scopus website, but we need to log in using Easy Proxy. So now let's check whether this is a legit Scopus journal. Okay, it's using, you can use ISSN or you can use the journal's name itself. Okay, Malaysian Journal of Learning and Instruction. So you go to Scopus website just now. Okay. You have to log in using Easy Proxy from UTM PlayExec website. So choose source title if you have the journal's title. So Malaysian Journal of Learning and Instruction. I'm searching and I'm doing credibility check whether it's a legit Scopus journal. Yes, good. Okay, so click here. It's apparently, yeah, a legit Scopus journal. It has been indexed by Scopus since 2006. So this is quite a very established and credible journal. Okay, so that's no problem with Scopus. Let's go back to the website of MJLI. Sorry, okay. I want to share this one, but how can I click that? Okay, this website again. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, okay. Can you see my screen now, yeah? All right, so I'll go down and, oh, this is interesting. According to this website, if they use this SGR or SIMAGO gender ranking quota, it's Q1 in cultural studies. So I think this is Q1. I think this is ISI index journal. I want to claim this to my supervisor that I might be sending my paper to this Q1 journal. But again, stop first. Is this a legit ISI index journal? Okay, whenever you see SIMAGO journal ranking at UTM, we only recognize the indexings by a Web of Science. So whenever you see SIMAGO indexing, it's not I don't want to say digit because it's a different entities altogether, SIMAGO and WOS, Web of Science. But at UTM, we only accept WOS ranking. Okay, but I really want to check. I really want to ensure that this is not a Q1. Okay, how to ensure that? All right. So again, you go to easyproxy.com just now and you go to the online database. Okay, so remember the journal name is Malaysian Journal of Learning and Instruction. So under the Easy Proxy and online database, there is an option of Web of Science. So click at Web of Science and I want to try to find whether this journal is really a Q1 journal. So I put the name here, Malaysian Journal of Learning and Instruction. So I'll go to search. Okay, So what I can see here, yes, this is the journal here, but I cannot click at the journal. Okay, so most probably this journal are not, this journal in particular is not listed in the queue or quartiles of the good quartiles of the journal, the quadrant, the quartiles of the journal. So most probably it's not here, because if a particular journal is a Q1 or until Q4 ISI index journal, when you click here, there is an indicator or in an indication whether this journal is Q1, Q2, or so forth. Okay, I'll show you one example. Okay, come back to this. Okay, let's say you just want to use the word learning and instruction. Any journals with that is listed in quotas. So this is what I meant by, if you click at the journal's name, you can actually see the journal impact factor and the quota. So this is a legit Q1 ISI index journal. So that is one of the ways that you can identify whether this is a legit Q1 journal or not. Not saying that some journals overclaim, no, because they are using different indexing. They're using Simago, but at UTM we do not accept Simago ranking, so we only refer, our library only refer to WOS. So if you claim to your supervisor that you have managed to publish in Q1, before you want to say that to your supervisor, ensure that you do this checking first. All right. Okay, so that's about it.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe
mm,
Dr. Shura, we can
yeah.
highlight why the need to worry about whether it's Simago or WOS. The
Uh-huh.
process is the same, the torture is the same.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as best as you can, you try the WOS first. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you get a review that is good, just getting a review is already an accomplishment. Uh, and then if you still can't publish in the Q journals, you go downwards. You go to Scopus. If not, it's the other way around. If once you are confident, why the worry? Because sometimes you feel that you have established something, but somewhat you have been somewhat, you know, uh, it's it's almost always we are using a negative word, which I don't want to do. But Simago sometimes claims that they are Q1, but in Simago, not Q1 in WOS. Yeah, so just be wary of that. And you want the fruit of your labor to be recognized as it should be. That's all. Of course, there's no problem publishing in Simago, but it's not the same as WOS. That's all.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Farah. Yes, that's right. Um, count as UTM requirement. Oh, that okay. Abu Saif just now asked that question. Okay, if my paper is selected by IP Docs conference in a non-index journal, will it count as UTM requirements? You have to check your status. Are you a PhD student or a master student? If you are PhD students, if you are enrolled um, from uh, from September 2016 onwards, so the publication requirement for PhD students intake September 2016 and onwards is 1 publication journal articles, okay, or 2 articles in index conference proceeding, right, before you can submit your thesis for Viva. All right. So, but the thing is, publication of journal articles should be in Scopus or ERA or WS. ERA is Excellence of Research Australia. So this is a framework of Australian research, something got to do something along that line. But you have to publish in Scopus or WOS index journal, okay, or conference proceedings. Right. So if you ask me, maybe um, okay, I cannot answer that question. Maybe Dr. Nomi can answer the question by Saif or Dr. Farah.
Yeah, for IP docs, it's just non-index actually. It's actually a venue for you to, to start writing your paper and send it to the experts and just get feedback from the others, Like
Yeah,
what
but
Dr. Shura mentioned just now, you have to start somewhere, right? So as a novice researcher, let's start with non-index and then see what is the kind of feedback given by the reviewers, That this one is actually a very good practice because it will increase your confidence. Before we aim for of course we have to aim for the for the moon and the star, right? But uh but we start somewhere. So that we have some confidence, get most probably your paper won't be rejected. But the most important thing is you'll get the feedback. And
yeah.
then like what I mentioned just now during my session, during my slot, you get to meet the others, get to share your findings, get to talk to the experts and get to talk to the other people from other fields. That's the most important thing. All right? Okay.
Can I add?
Sure, sure. Oh,
Okay,
Dr. Sophie is here. Hi, Dr. Sophie.
okay. Big boss is here, so I should mute.
Okay, I think previously the Farah already mentioned, although that by default, most of the all papers will be, all full papers will be accepted and published to a non-index. However, if the submitted full paper is really in a good quality for Scopus, it can be considered for Scopus publication. So if you write really, really good, that publication can be counted as a requirement for your PhD UTM requirement. Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
So
Sophie.
Yeah.
Dr. Sophie.
Yeah, thank you. You,
Yeah.
you get it from the boss herself, yes?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
but uh, yeah. So what I would like to highlight to you, Abu Sif, since you are a first year student, first semester, if you start from here, you will only collect and accumulate a list of publication, non-indexed, indexed. I believe if you start from your first semester to publish in a non-indexed, you will find your way to go up further and further. So apart from just worrying about the publication requirement, yeah, for your graduation, you also would like to, if you go to your proposal defense, once at the end of your proposal defense, okay, by the way, I have published and I have presented my work, meaning you are giving your examiner a bit of, a sense of confidence in you that you can execute your study. Yeah, because you have gone out there and talked to other people about your work. Going to a conference sounds simple, but actually it takes a lot of courage, to speak to other people about your work. Uh, uh, Even as small as just a conceptual paper and all, because once you have to tell other people about your work, you have to really understand your work in order for you to let other people understand you. So it's a good training platform for you, not just for your study, for your proposal or for your viva, but later on, once you venture into your career, doesn't matter if it's academic or not. It's just building up your confidence on your work. So as much as it is not non-index for the conference proceeding, I would like to highlight again that if it's worthy to be published elsewhere, the SPS team would, we are even the secretariat members, yeah, we would uh, uh, fight for your paper to be published in the journal that we have identified. So if it's fitting in there, we will try. But of course, the disclaimer is Scopus publication requires the article processing charges, as with other papers as well. Yeah, so we will try our best to do that. But if I can share my screen, yeah, this is the going to some of the students' question. Yeah, what is the publication requirement? Yeah, So for now, this is the requirement, right? For a master student, you must at least publish one accepted for journal article, conference proceeding, or book chapter for master students. For PhD, this is, I don't know whether this is the latest one, but at least one indexed article or
Yes.
two indexed conference proceedings in Scopus, ERA, or Web of Science. Yeah, I think I'm going to share with you. I've got the ERA list. Yeah, I will share in the Padlet that you worked on for your conference. I will put there the link to the list of ERA. At least I have the list of ERA that
Dr.
I have
Sophie, are you
now.
there? Dr. Sophie, are you there?
Can we confirm the requirement
The
for
requirement.
publication since
Yes.
Okay.
yeah,
Sure.
it's the same one, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, ERA is bearable for you to go in. Scopus as well. Web of Science is the target for everyone, including me. But not just proceedings. Maybe it would be good to have an indexed article in WOS. This is the requirement. But you can do more, even though it's not indexed. But later on, if you wish to be the best student, these are the points or merit that you will get. Yeah, the your active status in publication, in activities, non-academic activities. So this builds up to your resume, yeah, and your profile.
Farah, we cannot hear you, Farah.
Yeah. Mute.
Sorry, I hopped your session again, Shura. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I really need it's a sharing session. That means anyone can share. I mean, Dr. Farah or Dr. Nomi can share their input. All right. So coming back to this, so again, when you have decided to which journal that you wish to publish your work, look at whether they use Simago ranking or WS ranking to confirm. Okay. And this one is the Padlet link just now, the earlier Padlet activity that we did just now. So again, find out whether your proceedings or your paper will be accepted to papers or sorry to journals index in Scopus or ISI index. Okay, we've got questions from just now Shahada. Okay, I think this session will be recorded and you can watch again. How can we find for the ranking? But according to Dr. Sophie, you can go to WAS website just now, use the library link and go to the journal citation report to see the ranking of the journal, whether it's indexing WAS or not. Okay. All right. So with that, I end my session here. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Thank you very much for lending your ears, and thank you to Dr. Nomi and Dr. Farah for the insight as well. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now is actually your coffee break. Okay.
Coffee break.
Let's the coffee
I've got my
break.
coffee here.
Yeah, have you got your
Dr.
coffee,
Farah.
everyone? Okay. Let's meet after 10 minutes. Is it okay? So
Okay.
time check,
Yeah,
it's
10:50.
yeah, now
10:50.
okay. Now 10:40.
You can loosen your, do some exercise. We've been sitting too long. It's
Yeah.
been 1 hour and a half. So
We will
do
meet
some
10:50.
planking or whatever.
Okay. Right.
Assalamualaikum. I hope you have got the much needed rest. Okay, so it's 10:50 already. Let us go to the gist of this workshop, the hands-on session. But before that, I will just give a bit of input and then we work on our own draft. Yeah, hopefully, the main objective of this hands-on workshop is for you to kickstart your publication journey, starting with IP docs. You can work on it. We hope that you will submit to IP docs, but otherwise, if you wish to work on your draft for something else that is bigger, feel free to do so, but we encourage your submission to IP docs just as a kickstart to your already flourishing publication journey. Yeah, so the rest of the session for the next 1 hour or so is to have your thesis with you. If you have it in soft copy, you open your Word file. If you have it in print, you take it and put it next to you. Yeah, right. So, okay, let's go to the next slide. What's happening? I don't want to annotate. Can I stop annotating? Okay.
Start sharing first and then okay, right?
Okay. All right. So this is the typical structure of a paper. It doesn't matter if it's extended or the full paper, yeah, but what people normally use is the IMRAD structure. Yeah, IMRAD is the acronym for Introduction, Method, Results, and Discussion or Conclusion. So this is the IMRAD structure. Of course, for any abstract or extended abstract or paper, you will have your title, you will have you as the author, and because you are still studying under supervision, you would have to put in your supervisor's name as well. Yeah, the abstract and also the keywords. We will go through this after this, right after this slide. Yeah, so from the title, author, abstract, and keywords, what people will find are descriptive information that people will see in order for them to search for your article. Yeah, the title and who is writing the paper, which is you. So the IMRED is the one in the yellow box. Yeah, you basically in a extended abstract or a paper, you answer the WH question. Yeah, the why, how, what, and so what. Yeah, the so what is the part where you tie everything back together. So in the introduction, yeah, this is what people normally put, and I would suggest you to do the same. What is the context of the paper? How does it fit in with other research? Of course, you want, as much as you want it to be novel, you also want it to be relatable and adding back to the body of literature. Yeah. And what is the research question? This is the nucleus of your paper. Okay, once you establish the why do you conduct the study, now you tell the reader how you did it. Yeah, so in the method section, what you do is you answer back the the ways you intend to answer the research question. What mechanism do you use? And after you have established the ways of doing it, now the reader wants to know what you get. Yeah, so that is embedded in the results section. What was the answer to the research question? You must have a parallelism in terms of the research question and what it covers in the body, which is the result. Yeah, And oftentimes you accompany your narratives with figures and tables. We will also look at that as well. Yeah. And then finally, you want to leave the reader with something to think about. Yeah. So what? This, if you reflect back on how you read a paper, when you read a particular paper, you want to know what the researcher, you know, argues, and what is the take-home message. Yeah. So as a writer now, not a reader, what do you want the readers to do after they read your paper, right? What is the significance of the study and how does it fit back to the topic? Yeah. So if it's almost like a funnel, yeah, bigger to narrow, but after having discussed your results, you want it to be applicable to the wider audience. Yeah. Through your discussion and your take-home message in your conclusion. And of course, people also want to see the references, what you have been citing in your paper. So for now, this hands-on session, you ask yourself and reflect on your current phase of the study. Just now I talked to, I know two people are in their first semester. So have you defended your proposal? For the two of you, you have not, but there are something that you want to share with the audience of your work. So probably it's a review paper like for Abu Sif just now. Yeah. If you have defended your proposal, there must be something that you can take out of your proposal. Probably you have done like a mini observation or pilot study or something that you want to take out of it and translate it into a research article. Those who have findings, it's good for you to do and to talk about your results, yeah, however small or big it is. Or are you currently collecting your data? Or are you drafting your results chapter now? You have more meat to fry and cook now, yeah, as opposed to those who are in their first semester. And now from this slide onwards, you determine what you will cover in your extended abstract based on your thesis. Remember, I said that your thesis is like ingredients. It's like your refrigerator. You have your meat, chicken, beef, seafood. You've got your veggies. You've got your condiments. Yeah. What recipe do you want to cook today? So you take out from your thesis. If you feel like doing cooking a steak, take out the beef, just focus on one. Don't do tom yum seafood today. Hopefully not, right? So just think about what you want to take out. Look at your research question. Which one is the most confident that you want to attempt today? We take it out and then we try to draft, yeah, for your extended abstract. Okay, now let's get to business. We have prepared the Padlet link for you. Yeah, let me stop sharing this one so that I can go to the Padlet link.
The link is in the
Let me
chat, okay,
open it.
everyone? Yeah.
Let me open it so that I can share with you here. Just now, I've also shared the ERA journal list in the Padlet link, the first one. Okay, right. What I want you to do is you download this one first. Please download this one. Oh, okay. I'm not sharing my screen, so you don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Okay. I hope you can share see my screen now. Okay. Go to the Padlet link and go to this one. I have uploaded the IP Docs extended abstract template, but I have made some adjustments to it because I used the comment function in the Word file to give guidelines to you to each of the section. Yeah. Let me open it in a new window. Oh, because if I just view it from here, you cannot see my comments. Okay. Okay, let me stop sharing Chrome so that I can share my Word file. Wait, yeah, bear with me for a while. Okay. Can you download the manuscript, the template? I hope you can. Okay, just download and work on your respective draft. Yeah. So just imagine this is mine and you're working on yours. Just for a few minutes, I just want to say that what I have amended from the original um, template is I put the comment function as to tell you what is it that you can do to make the best out of your extended abstract. So in abstract title or journal title, it should not be too long. Sometimes people say that you cannot go beyond 15 words. Yeah, but it depends on context of the journal. Sometimes I do find engineering papers that have a long title. Yeah, it should not be too long, but ultimately it should encapsulate or cover the essence of your study, in the sense that you have covered the main topics of your study. If your study is on chemical engineering, there are certain components that you are tapping into in your paper. You take it out as the keywords from your thesis. You take it out and put it in the title. You highlight the importance of your research somewhat. Yeah, in concise writing, don't have too many articles in there, and it is attractive enough for the audience. Remember, we said the abstract is the a stand-alone piece of writing that the reviewers or the organizers will see. So it has to be attractive enough to gauge their attention. So I've put some examples here. You can just walk through. But for example, yeah, here, does vaccinating children and adolescents with inactivated influenza virus inhibit the spread of influenza? Oh, so many words, too many unnecessary words. Can it be better? It cannot be too short either. For example, influenza vaccination of children, a randomized trial. I do not get from that title, I do not get much from what you are doing. Yeah, so maybe you are not putting enough on the importance of your research. So a better title would be something like this: Effect of child influenza vaccination on infection rates in rural communities, a randomized trial. From this title, you know the context of your study, which is done in rural communities. The bulk of it is vaccination, because all three titles have that. That is your hook. Yeah. So in this case, you are looking at vaccination, the effects of it. Yeah. Just now, there wasn't any. You were not telling what you were doing. So in your study, you are looking at the effects. So take out the main importance. Yeah. I have shared, Ali, in the Padlet link. You can download it. Can you download? I think you can download, right? Can you try to download, Dr. Shura, Dr. Nomi? Can you download? Okay, right. So write your name, your affiliation. Doesn't have to be like I think you can just put
Yeah,
University Technology Malaysia here,
Dr. Farah,
right?
yes, we
Okay,
can.
you can download, yeah? Okay. So go to the Padlet link and go to the first column and download the file, yeah? You should be getting the same as what you're seeing now on my screen, right? So under abstract, remember I said the abstract is the first one you see, but the last one you write, yeah? So leave it for now, because you don't know what you will be covering in the results or findings section. So just leave it first, you do it last. Yeah, it's the summary of the content of the journal manuscript or the extended abstract, right? Your abstract should answer all this question like what I've covered in the first slot with me just now. What was done? Why did you do it? What was okay? Because it's quite long, yeah. What did you find and why these findings are useful and important? So this bit is the conclusion here. So in an abstract, ideally the division of importance, you can divide your abstract into 4 portions. 25% of it goes to the introduction, introducing the topic, yeah, what, yeah. Methodology is another 25%. 1/4 of your abstract should talk about your methodology. How did you do it? Okay. And then the bulk of it, 35%, is the results. What did you find? So if you are doing on a review paper, what were you reviewing? So you talk about that in your abstract. And then the least importance, not to say the least in terms of the importance, but the allocation, yeah, is 15% for the conclusion. You don't have to dwell too much on the conclusion. The meaty part would be the result, but equal attention must be put on the introduction as well as methodology, because this is a practice for us readers. When we read a paper, you read the abstract first, right? Not the whole body. So the abstract is the hook. So if you see another paper doing the same, about the same thing as you see, oh, methods, they use the same method. Their aim is similar to mine. So the highly likely you will download the paper. But if you see the abstract doesn't tell you much about the method, percentage of you downloading the full paper for you to read further is lower compared to if you read something that is close to home. Yeah, they talk about what was done, why did they do it, the aim, the results, and the conclusion. So you relate to how you would read as a reader, and now you're relating it to you as the writer. So you can just see what I wrote here so that it's clear for you what you can put. Okay, under materials and methods, this is the section where the reader wants to know how you do it. Yeah, you can use subheadings. And for materials and methods, because you have already done it, it should be written in past tense. Yeah, right. And describe the methods in detail. That is just enough for people to know, and possibly for other researchers or other readers to replicate your work. Yeah. But there's a tip here that I put. Check the instruction for authors. Usually you will have this instruction for authors, especially for Q journals. Yeah. For your target journal to see what should be presented. Sometimes they have a guideline, yeah, right? Or sample, okay? Just to follow for you to highly likely be included in the journal, yeah, because you have followed the standard, right? Some papers get rejected because they don't follow the standard. You don't do enough homework to know what they expect from you. So don't do that. That's not good. Okay. Again, just now, if you're doing a review paper, this one can be tweaked. What did you do? Of course, there are methods for you to do the review. You talk about that in this section. Yeah, and then moving on to the meatiest part of your extended abstract, the results and discussion. So under the results section, okay, you state what you have found. Yeah, you use subheadings for you to easily, as a writer, you segment your results, not just at one go. Yeah, don't do a long run-on paragraph. So you do it under specific subtitle, right? And it should be presented in a logical order from the most important to the least important. Okay. Again, same as the materials and methods, you write them in past tense because you have already done it. To describe your results, however, refer to figures and table in the present tense, yeah, as illustrated. Okay, figure 1 presents, not figure 1 presented, yeah, because you are actually guiding the reader to ask them to look at the figure, yeah. So only the figure, when you refer to the figure, it's supposed to be in present tense, but when you talk about your result, it should be in past tense, yeah. And do not duplicate data among figures and tables. Usually, you know, this is because of you want it to be, it's like a hasty work, you just bulldoze everything, yeah. So don't do that. Don't duplicate data, as in if there's a table, you just reiterate what is being said, but in actual truth, what people want to see in the body paragraph is your take on it, yeah, your voice, right? Okay. And then in the discussion section, you talk about the so what just now that we talk about. Okay. And I would like to also highlight why sometimes, most of the time, a template of any kind, extended abstract and journal article alike, would put in the figure and the table, template. It's not just on purpose. A figure serves functions in your paper as well. So figures and tables, I've written here, are the quickest way to communicate large amounts of complex information. Yeah. So sometimes just people by glancing through, for example, oh, figurehead, oh, he or she is comparing data. Okay, it's a longitudinal data. I wish to find out more. Then from the figure, they tend to read your body paragraph. Oh, this is what you want to say. If you are comparing, then if you turn it into a table, that would be quicker for readers to get what you are trying to say. So for example, here it's like they talk about low and high temperature. So you know the parameters of your work, and so do your readers. Yeah. So table are concise, an effective way to present large amounts of data again. Yeah, so make sure to use clear and concise caption. Okay, caption plays an important part as well, right? Make sure it is legible. Sometimes because you intend to fit in as much as you can, to the point that you can't read, uh, so it's not effective. So try your best to just fit in and try out whether you can understand it. Yeah, have another person reading your work, then you know the feedback from other people. Yeah, and then in the conclusion, you restate your research problem again and your research question, and then you highlight your findings. Yeah, and then this is also important to suggest key takeaways from your paper, right? Probably in theoretical, pedagogical, or methodological implication of it. Yeah, you can put that in your conclusion. And then, of course, acknowledgement is for those who are doing it under a grant. This would be good you to claim, right? For your publication, you can put it here. If you are not working it under a grant, you may also want to thank other people who have contributed to your work. Please don't leave it blank. I would always suggest for you to put in acknowledgement. Yeah, even acknowledging the people who are involved in your study. And then the references, yeah. Look at the format that they wish to have. So here under IP Docs, they already give you, if the reference is an article, this is how you cite it. Yeah, I think this is APA. Okay, right? So every statement of fact or description of previous findings requires a supporting references. So make sure you don't miss out any. Yeah. Reviewers also sometimes scrutinize this part, right? Okay. So that is the some of the things that I have put in the template. Of course, you can just delete it, right? Okay. So can we try to work on probably your introduction, or maybe you can have bodies of it, then you can compose it later, but just try to find, for now, this is the start of your hands-on session. You go to your thesis and see what you would like to take out of your thesis today. Just a draft of your uh, conference presentation or your publication. Today is 29th of June. You can mark on your calendar, I drafted something. Yeah. Can we work on your own draft, and we go back to the Padlet link? You can work on your own computer first, or you can just simply put it in the Padlet link so that we can just monitor what you do and give some feedback. Where's my Padlet? Wait here. Am I doing? Okay, sorry.
Okay, let's have a go. Try it out. Try to write down. Try to write your extended abstract, and then you upload it here on the Padlet. Once we see anyone putting your work there, then we can actually give our comments. You only have 45 minutes left.
Can we try to just probably identify the key research question that you want to tap into in this extended abstract?
Yeah.
Okay.
The deadline for the extended abstract is 15th of July, but for today, we are giving you the opportunity to just try it out, okay? And then you can actually put it here on the Padlet so that we can give comments. And then before tomorrow, I will share one more link where you can you can actually upload your extended abstract, and you get a chance to win some prize from SPS, the top 10 winner for the extended abstract for today.
Right. So probably to kickstart, you just go to your research question or research objective and see out of the 3 or 4 or more than that you have on your thesis draft, you see which one do you think have the most information that you can work on in relation to your literature review, to your introduction, to your research methodology. So go to that research question and just flip through your introduction. Your introduction can be the introduction for your extended abstract, but you concise them because ideally in thesis, the introduction chapter covers everything that you intend to do, right? From the keyword to the theory to the implementation and the methodological framework or analytical framework. So you go to your chapter 1 where you can find your research question, the significance, yeah, the theoretical framework. So for now, probably if I look at my 6-year-old PhD thesis, somebody asked just now, can I go back to my 3-year-old PhD thesis? You can, or thesis or master's thesis. Sometimes I do flip through my master's thesis because there are things that I have not published. It remains just in there, dormant, which is a waste. Yeah. So go back. The only thing that if you revisit, you know, 6-year-old or 5-year-old, doesn't matter how old the thesis is, the bulk of the work that you need to update is the literature. You will not amend your research methodology for sure, but your literature review will have to be updated. Your motivation to do your paper still stays the same. Yeah. It's just your literature review that needs to be updated. So if I look at my research objective, probably I would do my first research question. Okay. Are you working on yours? I hope you are. Okay, let me. Probably they are working on their own draft, but not uploading it in the Padlet, right? Dr. Nomi, Dr. Shura? Hopefully. So if you look at the sample here, it's just 3 pages, yeah? Okay. Keywords just now, preparing this workshop teaches me a lot of things actually. I need to revisit what these sections are. I get to know that when you write your keyword, as best as you can, don't repeat the words that you have in your title. Yeah. They were saying don't repeat the same wording that you have in your title, because it wouldn't help much in terms of people finding your work. But what was encouraged to be put is probably narrowing it down to your method, for example. Yeah. For example, using sucrose as porous agent. So this must be the mechanism for you to do or conduct this study for this group of people. So you talk about the method. For example, if you do, you know, comparison or anything else, I have it in the
Dr. Farah, we are losing you.
Sorry.
Dr. Farah.
Wait. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, Farah. Loud and clear.
While waiting for Dr.
Okay.
Farah, everyone, please try it out, okay?
Okay. Right. Sorry, yeah. All over the place now. Okay. I put it in the guideline. Yeah. Here I said keywords acts as a tool to help indexes and search engines find relevant articles. This I found from the I made for this workshop. Preferable to choose keywords that complement main topic of your research, including related words or methodology-specific terms. For example, manuscript title, direct observation of nonlinear optics in an isolated carbon nanotube. I don't know what that means, but poor keyword says here you don't just take one word, yeah, because it doesn't help much. Better keywords would be, for example, a specific methodology that you use. For example, single molecule interaction. So when people try to Google things, like how you Google things, these are a better keyword. Don't repeat, avoid duplicating the words that are already in the article. Try it another way around. For example, Kerr effect. So you are pinpointing the main that complements the main topic of your research. So just have a look at this while you are doing your draft. So I would suggest you start by, for example, here. I want to talk about generic structure potential. Yeah. Just have it in keywords first, then you draft and look for it in your thesis. You already have that, so you just take it out. So under the introduction, I want to talk about generic structure potential and my theory, which is SFL, for example. Yeah. And then I want to talk about report genre. Of course, what
Your voice is breaking,
itu
Farah.
my aim is to look at, yeah, can you hear me?
Your voice. Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay, sorry, my internet is lagging. Okay, so aim is to, I want to see, okay, I see some questions there on the chat box. I will try to answer that, but at the same time, I'm trying to draft my extended abstract. What are the elements? I hope you're doing yours as well. Yeah, I'm just doing mine. Okay. Remember, in the introduction, you have the what, why. Yeah, so just have a look at the guide that I put in the comment box. Okay.
I just want to add to your sharing just now, Farah. If you think that you are not sure which part of the thesis you plan to publish or to for the purpose of the conference, you may also focus on the research questions. That means it's okay to publish the findings for RQ1 only. And let's say you have not done the full fledged of the data analysis, you can always publish your preliminary findings or your pilot data. Okay, so it's up to you. You know your study better than us.
Pilot data is easier to control in terms of describing it, right? Because it's quite small in scope. I do have my preliminary study here. Okay, let me take it from my preliminary. I hope beyond the workshop, you would do this practice as well. Yeah, you have to think through what you wanted to talk about. Even in your thesis, you have to thoroughly, draft the storyboard somewhat of how you want to narrate what you are doing. Yeah, so it's not just random work, but you know where you're heading and where you are coming from. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so for this is just for the purpose of the workshop. I just go back to my thesis and go to my preliminary study section, and I wrote there in my thesis that my preliminary study was to explore the applicability of the theory to investigate how meanings are realized in the language structure. This is from my thesis. So whatever that I have here is already in my thesis. I'm lucky in the sense that I have completed it. But if you are still writing it, there are some drafts that you have done. You could just go through what you already have. You don't have to do something that is new for now. Yeah, so you just go back to what you already have in your draft and see what can be uh, taken out of it to be put as a article, to be presented or to be published in journal paper. Okay, it's not impossible for you to write in your first semester. Yeah, I've got my student who is working on her, still on her paper review, but she managed to do a comparison or do a review, although not extensive, but it's a kickstart. What more if you have already defended your paper proposal? Okay. And what more if you have already completed your findings? Yeah, like Abu Saif, you are for now, because we talked to you, yeah, so that's why I can try to relate. You are delayed because of the condition now that you cannot go and do your experiments, but you are currently doing review work. There is always a blessing in all the things that are happening. Yeah, so you can focus on that for now until it is safe for you to go back to your lab. Then you can do the lab work here. I feel for those who were not able to go back to their laboratory, because I hear some of my friends were complaining. The students said some, some of the things that they have tested have expired. They have to do all over again. I cannot imagine how it is like, how challenging it is for those depending on lab works. Yeah. I hope I don't talk too much. You can focus on your work. I'm just looking at my paper here. If you have any question, you can just ask here through your microphone or through the chat box. Are you okay there? It's good to have this hour dedicated to just you focusing on your work. Sometimes we are like octopus, right? We are doing things, few things at one go, multitasking. So once you get like a quality time just to focus on your work, you can actually do it. Yeah. I'm in the moment here now. I'm in the groove for me to write. So try to find that as a student, try to find that quality time. Be sure that when you copy and paste, you follow the format. Okay. You all okay? Starting to feel hungry. I have not taken my breakfast.
Oh, so sorry to hear that. I think
No
everyone is
problem.
working hard. They some of them
Yeah.
even text me through WhatsApp, and they are trying
Uh-huh.
to finish up actually their work.
Mm.
We had also one participant where she wrote her thesis. I mean, she's writing her thesis in Malay language, and now she's translating it to English. So that's
That's good.
so let
I
me
can
see.
relate. I can relate. Okay. Muhen Milad asked, would you mind please to tell us a little more about how to write the results in chapter 4? I mean, do we have to write the results based on the aforementioned objectives? Do you mean in your thesis or in the research paper, Muhen?
On the thesis.
Oh, okay. Right. There are various ways of doing it, but the one that I typically see is um, you follow the research question, because usually when you arrange your research question, it's from the it's according to the difficulty. I mean the depth, right? So if I refer to my even my research question, I start from the easiest to the most complicated, right? So usually the narration of your chapter 4 would follow your research question. Sometimes I get to read this type of thesis. Uh, Chapter 4 answers research question 1. Okay, that's not good. As a reader, you are, as the one examining, you are actually asking me to just flip back to your research, your chapter 1, and see what research question 1 is about. So as best as you can, you reiterate what the research question is. Don't just write research question 1, research question 2, because as the examiner reads your thesis, they become tired by the fourth chapter, if ever they read it from the first page to the last page at one go. Just imagine if the reader reads it in few episodes or few readings. So they may have to go over what was the research question again. So don't trouble your readers by not giving what you're supposed to give. Okay. Usually in the start of your result chapter in your thesis, you tell from the get-go in the introduction, this chapter answers research question 1. You can put it in bracket. You can just list them back, and then the sequence is such that you follow the research question, unless you've got other mechanism to maneuver your research question. Sometimes one relate to the other, so which one comes first? That would be my suggestion to you. How would you uh, organize your result chapter? My PhD thesis, I have 7 chapters like Dr. Shura. My chapter 4 is research question 1. My chapter 5 is research question number 2 and 3, because they are interrelated. And then my chapter 6 is my research question number 4. And my conclusion chapter is chapter 7. Yeah. Consult your supervisor how best to uh, divide your chapter, because if I were to answer all my 4 research questions in one chapter, it will be too long. That's why I put it under a different chapter, because the chapter is such that I divide that they can stand alone. My chapter 4 is on the structure, my chapter 5 is on the content, my chapter 6 is on another structure altogether, so they are stand alone. Some can be put into one chapter, chapter 4. Some you have to divide to a few chapters. I hope I answer your question, Mohan.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So you apply the same for your abstract or your journal papers. The section is such that you divide the focus, one focus, and then you move on to the next focus or the next highlight. So you make full use of the subheadings or the subsection that they give you the freedom to put in. Yeah. Some are usually very generous enough to give you an idea of what you can write under the section, like this one that you have for IP Docs. All right. So you fill it in just as how I'm just showing as a demo here. At least I have like a framework on what to write under each section. I'm already at the approaching my results discussion. But of course, because it's from your thesis, you can just go and revisit them and then just copy and paste. Okay, so I am looking at my chapter 3 because my preliminary, I put it there. So I've already got the discussion. You can just cut and paste first, but you have to rewrite, not just leave it there like that. Yeah. And then there's a tendency that when you copy and paste, it would no longer be 4 pages, it will be like 5, 6 pages. So you have to trim it down, yeah, make it concise. So I would have to sift out from this one. Okay, so which I will do later. Once I finish this slot, we have about 12 minutes left before our stipulated time to stop.
There's
Right?
a
Is there any
question at the chat.
question while we are at it?
There's a question in the chat window from Izzah Mardia. Doctor, I always have a problem in writing introduction on research paper. Is there any tips on how to writing bombastic introduction to draw reviewers'
Ooh,
attention? And there's another
bombastic.
question, but you want to answer this one first, Farah?
How I wish I can have a bombastic introduction is
Yes.
really but I think from the word bombastic, what you intend for the reader to get is the bombastic in terms of the contribution of your paper. The bombastic would mean what do you bring to the plate? What do you add on to an already established literature in your area? So the bombastic is the work that you do. It's not just the words that you use, but the work that you bring forth that is worth being cited, being published, and being reviewed by the reviewer. Oftentimes, we take for granted that reviewers would have to take the time for them to read your work. So, getting feedback from them would add to the already bombastic introduction that you intend to do, Isa. So, I hope I can give you a more concrete answer, but I think the bombastic should come from the contribution you make from the paper, and of course the way you narrate it in your paper, right? So the best way is to get another published paper and see how they usually typically write their introduction. Then you can mirror them, yeah, especially in the
I
journal. Mm.
If I may add to what Dr. Farah said, if I were to wear my reviewer hat here, I don't like it's not I don't like, but in academic English, in academic writing, don't beat around the bush. Okay, go straight
Mm.
forward to what you intended to do. Because maybe for a novice researcher, what I found, the pattern is like you like to beat around the bush. After some time, then only you go straight to your point. So reviewers do not like that kind of organization of academic writing.
That
Please,
cliffhanger, right?
yeah. And so
Cliffhanger.
go straight forward. And there's another question from Ali. I think maybe one of us can answer this question briefly because we reaching 12 o'clock. Okay, Ali's asked question. Sorry to ask this question, but the difference. What is the difference between objective and research question. It's not clear for me.
Okay.
Kindly, could you please explain?
Is this in relation to thesis, Ali, if I can ask you? Is it in relation to thesis, research objective and research question? If it is, then what I normally tell my students is that objective and research question have to be similar. The only difference is objective is written in a statement form. The research question is in the question form. So you cannot have a different objective than your research question. It has to be like a mirror image. One is in statement form, the other is in question form. If I can share, can I share? Wait, yeah. The only way that I can show examples is through mine. I'm not trying to be, you know, self-obsessed here, but you know, if I show other people's, then we have issues of privacy and, you know, confidentiality. Yeah, let me check whether I can share my, okay. We are approaching, I think I need to, okay, we end with me answering this question, and then I will pass over to Dr. Nomi for closure. Yeah. Okay. Right. So this is my
Sorry, doctor.
research.
Doctor, can you
Yeah.
hear me? Should we share what we have written,
Yes.
or how do I
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
that?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
You upload to the Padlet link.
we are
I
really
will be
looking
happy to
forward.
look at your
Yeah,
paper.
yeah.
Good job. Well, very simple, but
Yeah, it's okay.
I
It's
just want to
okay.
see your comments. How
Sure.
do I do that? Good job, eh?
You see the cross button,
Padlet plus sign,
plus sign.
sign in pink.
Okay, yes, I do. Yeah, okay.
Bottom page, you click on that.
The bottom www.
Bottom on your right. Yeah,
Expand post, right?
yeah.
Expand post, and then how do I do that?
Okay, you see the wait.
Okay, let me share screen. Let me
Okay,
share screen.
okay, okay. You share
Okay.
screen.
Okay. You see, let me move myself here. Okay. Wait, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay, you see this pencil sign, add post at the bottom?
Yes, yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, you click on that and then you just write and then you upload your document,
All right, got it. Okay, I'll do that now. Hang on now.
right? Okay, there's a question also how to improve your writing. Let me just see. While we're waiting for our attendees to upload.
I went to the
I use this as
register.
well when I
Okay.
did my PhD.
Yeah, I'm trying to share the link to
Yeah,
them.
Just now.
Yeah. Okay.
it's from Manchester University actually.
Yeah. So what we normally do, because we teach English, general English. So how can I go to okay. Right. So who asked that one? Abdul Ghaffar. Abdul Ghadir. Okay. So I usually ask my students to go to this link, academic phrase bank, so you don't have to crack your brain when you are in need of a powerful bombastic word just now that Iza
Farah,
wanted to
maybe
use.
you can share the link here, Farah, on the Padlet.
Where? Oh, okay.
Ah,
I already also shared in the chat.
yeah. Academic
This is academic phrase bank, yeah.
Phrase bank.
So you can have a look at it. Okay.
Ah, we have
Okay,
one.
mine is in, right? Can you see?
Yes,
Cantik.
I'm opening it now. Okay, this is your introduction?
Yeah, but
Okay,
yeah, just stop it. Yeah.
okay. Wait, yeah, in the wake of the pandemic. So this is your introduction. Okay, usually, okay, this is introduction. It's okay. Okay, good hook. CSR would be your
No, Farah, sorry, Farah. Just now you mentioned that it's a good hook. Which part of the paragraph is a good hook? to start?
okay. So you are actually relating it to the current situation in the wake of the
Yes.
pandemic. People
Yes.
are strongly committed to working together and supporting each other. Because this hook is related to the corporate social responsibility efforts. Now you are
Okay.
talking about people trying to commit. So the final is such that it is not talking about things other than the keywords that you are highlighting in your paper. So I would you highlight from the second sentence onward. Corporate social responsibility plays an increasingly significant role during this trying time of uncertainty. Businesses have a sphere in the society by addressing social issues and have a strong understanding in shaping broader understanding of CSR. You've got your uh, you've got your proof from justifiable, yeah, from previous work.
Yeah.
Conceptions of CSR with a plethora of theoretical viewpoints in the role of businesses in society creates room for ambiguity. Okay, okay, for an introduction it is okay. For an abstract, is this is quite long. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so
All right.
you've got to shorten it because you are building up and again. So in a abstract, it's just enough for you to have one or two hooking statement, and then you just go straight to the point of what you are making in the report.
Mm.
CSR efforts, because you have already made the acronym, you don't have to put it in full again. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, efforts being amplified through social media. So now you are narrowing it down to social media,
Yeah.
right? Okay, businesses are more exposed to scrutiny from the public, creating the importance for dialogue to meet expectation and gain credibility to operate in society. Okay, I have not come to your aim yet, which is in the third paragraph, right? Okay,
Yes.
alternative to businesses and CSR. Okay, usually we try to avoid. Americans do this, but Malaysians, we usually hedge away from saying my or what. So you just have anonymous. This paper
Okay.
aims to identify how the Social Hero Foundation, a
Mhm.
non-profit organization collaborating with a team. So if this is a special one, so you may
Yeah.
want to put it in italics. Okay.
Mhm.
Iskandar Malaysia. Okay, through Facebook. To what extent they embrace the interactive? Okay, you can either have it like this, or you can have like this paper aims to identify how businesses, something like that, general. Uh, then this one you can put that in the either in the introduction, or you can describe them further under your materials and method. You are
Okay.
focusing on your research participant. Okay, so here is your research participant, right?
Yeah.
Iskandar Malaysia. All right.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
This is good. A good attempt. Keep on writing.
Okay.
Maybe I can
Right.
add.
Good one.
Thank you,
Thank
Chandra.
you. Thank you, Dr. Farah. Thank you.
Maybe I would.
Chen, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are really happy to see at least one who works on the introduction, which is good. Okay, I pass. Now it's 12 already. I pass over to Dr. Nomi.
Okay, sure. Let me share my screen, okay? All right, we are coming to the conclusion. Slideshow. Okay, so thank you for spending your 3 hours with us today, everyone. we've covered the most important part of the workshop, you know, the differences between thesis and research paper, finding reputable journal conferences, and we also had some opportunity to do a hands-on practice with Dr. Farah and Dr. Shura just now, okay? So what are you waiting for? Okay, you can actually start to submit your extended abstract, okay, to this link, okay, and I have shared this link to the chat just now. This one is actually for you to get 50 ringgit discount for 10 winners. Actually, for each of the 10 winner, you get 50 ringgit discount for you to join IP Docs 21. Okay, so just try to submit whatever things that you have. You've learned how to do the extended abstract today. Okay, try to send it to us before tomorrow. Before 9 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. This one is just this link is mainly for this competition. Okay, maybe after that you would like to revise your abstracts, you know, and you can actually submit your extended abstract to this link, which is actually the link for IP Docs 2021. Okay. And then this is actually the QR code for the slides. If you like to have the slides for today's session, feel free to scan this code. Okay, you can print screen, keep it on your computer. Okay, then you can actually go back to the slides. Then yeah, important links. I think that's all for today. And then what else? Okay, just now I saw a question from the participants. You would like to watch this session again. You can go to SPS website, SPS Facebook, or you can also go to humanities.utm website. I have actually shared the same thing. Okay, it's actually from the Facebook, but over there in FSSH UTM KL website, you can see all the programs that our faculty have conducted actually for the benefits of students. Let me share where is the website? Yeah, it's here. Okay, wait. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So this is actually Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities Kuala Lumpur website. Okay. It's here. All right. And you can just click watch here. It's the same thing. You will go to the FB Live of SBS. And then if you go down here, we also have past events that, you know, might be helpful for you, that you can always watch during your free time. Okay. So that's all from me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for participating. We value your presence till the end. Yeah. So thank you very much.
If you
Thank
don't
you,
mind,
And
can you
yeah,
turn on your camera, then we can
yeah,
take
take
photo.
picture.
Yes.
And then don't forget to work on your draft. You are in
Most
the zone
importantly,
already.
the most
Yeah.
important message.
You are in the zone. Don't stop there.
Stop
Don't
there.
stop there.
We have
Yeah,
made you
don't
wait
stop
for
there.
3 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, doctors.
Yeah. Okay. Who's taking picture?
Sorry, doctors. You mentioned something related to you. We have to submit it before 9 a.m. tomorrow, right?
This
That one is
for the
to identify winners.
that one is to identify 10 best winners. You get 50
Mm.
ringgit discount to join IP Docs. And then of course you have until 15th of July to you have
Yeah, we can
yeah,
hear you.
yeah. And then you have
Uh-huh.
until 15th of July to revise your abstract to
10
submit.
first winners. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
then
got it. Thanks a lot.
grab your chance. 50 ringgit
Yes.
every winner. Okay, I'll take photo, okay?
Okay.
Okay, smile. 1, 2,
Yeah, got it. Thanks a lot.
3, smile. Okay. One more, Siti Fatima Ali Al Mabruk Everina. I cannot see you. One more time. Okay. All
Stay
right.
safe, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
SPS, for
Another one.
organizing this.
There's another one important question.
Oh, one
Thank you.
question. We have so many questions.
Is the full paper submission deadline is still on 18th of May or it will be delayed as well?
Full paper. Full
Uh,
paper.
Okay,
Dr.
Dr.
Sophie?
Sophie.
Let me
Sophie?
answer lah. Full paper submission is different than the extended abstract submission. So full paper submission is, hang on, can't remember. Please check the website lah. I think
Uh,
30th August. I'm not mistaken.
30th of August.
August. You still have time? About 1 month or 2?
Hmm.
Yeah, thank you again, SPS, for conducting this. We value your effort in empowering the students. So I hope you learn a lot from this session as well. Yeah, so keep writing. Hope to see you all graduating.
Oh, it's Dr.
Soon.
Farah's birthday today?
No, not yet.
July?
No, I'm not older. No, I'm in denial mode.
Happy advance birthday to Dr. Farah from
Advance.
Okay.
Advance birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. We'll
Yeah,
see you
thank
again.
you. Stay safe.
Okay, take care.
Keep doing your work. All the best to all of you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Assalamualaikum.